Hi there, this is Jason Oakes once again with Star Wars and Philosophy, and today I wanted to do a follow-up video to my last video where I talked about Star Wars and the idea of canon. And so if you haven't watched that yet, you might want to watch it as a precursor to some of the thoughts that I'm going to share in this. And so go ahead and click up there, and you can watch that and then come back and join us for this. And today, though, I wanted to do a follow-up and talk about the question, should Star Wars embrace the idea of myth, or should it continue to present itself as kind of a logical, historical thing? Not that Star Wars is trying to say that it actually happened or anything like that, but my question is this: when it comes to inconsistencies in the story, which is kind of the basis of why they created a canon in the first place, is because the expanded universe they didn't feel was completely consistent in all instances and couldn't be reconciled in many ways with the current story, or maybe where they wanted to go with the story. So they created a canon. So again, right there, you can click on that video and get caught up on that. But there's several different times, even within the main movies, let's just take the movies, in which there's clear paths that they went in different directions. And so I just wanted to list a couple of them just to give you a feel for why I asked this question. Probably the best known one is Luke and Leia kissing in Empire Strikes Back. And then later on in Return of the Jedi, you find out that that was his sister. Well, if that was part of the original storyline that they were going with, then that's kind of creepy. And I think both of them probably should have been like washing their mouth out at that moment when they realized that, at the very least. But if you kind of go into the explanation, what you find is, in reality, that the original story, apparently, George Lucas, when he said there is another Skywalker, that there was a different character that they had in mind besides Leia and bringing her in. Leia, I think in the original, wasn't supposed to be Luke's sister, but then they changed paths, and then they decided to go with Leia being the other Skywalker. And some have even picked up on that and saying, well, maybe that wasn't even referring to Leia. Maybe he just thought it was Leia. It seemed pretty clear in Return of the Jedi, though. So anyway, there's that rational, like, this is what happened and that caused them to change courses, but then you have these explanations that are given to help us to understand, and in that case they would just say, well, they didn't know that they were brother and sister. And she says, yes, she was very beautiful, she was very kind, all these great things, but she died when I was very young. Well, yeah, she died when you were really young, like as in when you just popped out of the womb kind of young. So that's caused many to go, well, why in the world? That's an inconsistency. And so the explanation that's on the table now is that Leia was using the Force. It was some kind of like Force vision that she had, where she was able to know her mom without her mom actually being alive. And so they're going around and trying to describe that. Another one would be Mace Windu's lightsaber. Well, those of us who are Star Wars fans know that Samuel L. Jackson went to George Lucas and said he requested to have a different colored lightsaber. And he proposed purple. And so that's why he had a different colored lightsaber. Well, now what Disney has said in canon is that kyber crystals, this is the canon version, not the expanded universe version, for those of you who are insisting that the expanded universe is consistent, but the kyber crystals now are said to be without color. And that is why the color is really formed, they say, by people who are the Jedi or the Sith that takes them. And so Mace Windu had a mixture of, he had purple, which is a mixture of blue and red. And the reason is because he was able to utilize dark side abilities and even to kind of draw from the person he was fighting in their energies, which is why they say that he was able to take on Palpatine in the end of Revenge of the Sith. And actually he was winning that battle is because he was able to draw upon Palpatine's force energies. And so anyway, you have this mix of blue and red and you get purple. And so that's the explanation for why Mace Windu's lightsaber is purple, because he was kind of a mixture between light side and dark side. He was able to utilize those powers. And then the last one I'm just going to bring up just for fun is the Darth Jar Jar theory. And as far as it goes, it looks like the Phantom Menace may have actually been intended to be Jar Jar himself, and that along the way, the backlash against Jar Jar, rightly so, in my opinion, but the backlash against Jar Jar was so intense that George Lucas again changed directions, and the Phantom Menace kind of became just the dark side being hidden, and they didn't know that Palpatine was masked and all this kind of stuff, and that Palpatine was the master at that point. Eventually, they bring in Darth Plagueis as being Palpatine's master, and they totally change course on those things. So here's my question to all of you: do you think that Star Wars should be doing all of this work to try and reconcile all of these types of things for us, or do you think that they should just leave it? Do you think that they should just leave it in the element of myth, story, legend, whatever you want to call it, and just have fun with it, and let's just go on from here? So let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and give a thumbs up on this channel. That really helps us to get support and to have our channel grow and be exposed to other people. And it also, if you know other Star Wars fans in your life, people that might like this video, would you just please share it with them? And you've also seen these other videos and links that have been going across. If you just click on one of those, it would greatly help us out. You can start the process over again. And until then, may His Force be with you.